Hello, listeners, and welcome back to A Night in Question. I am your host, Jeremy, and joining me, as always, is my wonderful co-host, Kate.
Hello, everyone.
And also back with us yet again is my handsome boyfriend, Ted.
Hey, everybody. I'm very glad to be back.
We can't get rid of you.
Nope.
Why would we want to?
No, that's true. It's actually been really nice to have you on here with all of your firsthand knowledge.
Yes, and my polysyllabic words.
She thinks she's smart.
Only on Tuesdays.
So, Kate, how have you been? How's your week?
My week's been good. It's been raining. Listen, before anyone gets on me about complaining about the rain in Washington, it can be a lot when you have just all that cloudy all of a sudden, because we'd had some really nice weather and now it's back to the rain. So I will say, and I don't know, maybe it's because of the rain, I did have something weird happen.
Again?
I don't know if this is, I don't know if you can consider this supernatural or not, but it was kind of weird.
Is it because you swiped right?
Something weird always happens when I swipe right.
Yep.
That's just the name of the game these days. No, okay, so Jeremy, you've seen my kitchen, right?
Yeah.
And my
wait, but not recently, right?
No.
Not recently. But
Okay.
he helped me move in. He helped me set up my kitchen.
Ted, you don't let me out of your sight, for God's sake.
That's true. I've got good security cameras.
Yeah.
I don't need to know this much about your relationship.
A better webcam.
Yeah. Stop. Kate-shaped hole. running through the wall. I have my refrigerator. And it has water, so that you put the cup in the little thing, and it lets water out into said cup, so you can drink.
We get how it works, Kate.
Yes,
we get it.
Then you can consume the water into yourself, so you can stay hydrated. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful thing.
Great story.
I know, isn't it? I'm such a storyteller. It's been like spitting water, like there's a cup there.
Oh, not dripping, like actually like shooting out.
No, like it'll do it spontaneously, as though somebody was filling up a cup of water and then stopping. So forgive this analogy, it is not unlike it is peeing and then stopping. So that's kind of what's happening.
That sounds painful.
Are you sure?
It's a personal problem.
It's not like your cat doing some kind of like Indiana Jones thing with your refrigerator, like leaping across your kitchen and hitting your water or something?
How acrobatic do you think my cat is? And how smart do you think she is? Because she's cute, but girl is dumb.
You've had so many incidences in your apartment that I originally thought it could be the cat. But this would have to be a super, super cat to turn on the stove, make water shoot out of your fridge spontaneously. And
I've watched it happen. I had seen some wet patches on the floor, and I thought that, I don't know, maybe I spilled water, the cat knocked her water dish over or something. But I've seen it happen a couple times now, and it's like somebody is filling up a cup of water, but there's no cup of water there. And it's really weird. And I don't know why it would just do that. There's probably some kind of, I don't know, it's malfunctioning or something, but I don't know. All of this, the centralizing of weird stuff that seems to be happening in the kitchen. I kind of want to know what happened in the kitchen that this seems to be a location where all this weird stuff is happening.
And what do you think that causes? Could it be a ghost?
Or there's something wrong with my refrigerator.
And your stove.
Yeah, I'm sure. It's got to be your refrigerator, because, that kind of stuff happens all the time. I used to have an ice machine on my refrigerator, and the ice would keep clumping together before it would dispense. And Sometimes I'd have to take like an ice pick and just kind of chop it up, and then it would sometimes drool a little water out of it. So I'm totally sure it's got to be just your refrigerator not working.
But then also the stove. And didn't you say some things in your shelves were rearranged?
I mean, maybe I can't tell how much of it is something actually happening and how much of it is that now that the idea's in my head, I can't stop thinking about it.
Well, when you first moved in the apartment, did you sense anything weird?
It's an old building. Like, I mean, you know this. When we lived in Astoria, we lived in an old building, and they always have kind of a weird feel, but that doesn't mean ghost. That just means it's an old building, and old buildings feel like things.
Yeah, but this is a building where a murder took place, and it's a very apartment where a murder took place. Not just any old apartment.
I didn't know that at the time, so I wasn't thinking, oh, my place must be haunted. Now that you keep putting the idea in my head, sure, maybe, but I don't know.
You've got to give Jeremy a little bit of a break here. He's been watching a lot of like Miss Marple stuff on streaming, and so
she's just so good.
He's just seeing Agatha Christie everywhere he looks.
This is, okay, you need to shut that shit down. Shut it down, Ted. Or get your own ghost. We'll go buy something haunted. That's how that works, right?
Oh, geez.
Like Annabelle or something. Isn't that a thing?
I wouldn't be comfortable with that.
Oh, you're okay with it if it's my apartment?
Yeah,
that's what I'm
fine.
hearing.
I'll come visit the ghost. I just don't want to live with the ghost.
Will you? Will you come visit the ghost? I've yet to see this. Are you going to come visit the ghost? Ted, is Jeremy allowed to come visit the ghost?
In about a year.
Yeah. So I'm just stuck with this supposed ghost, and I have to deal with it all by myself. Thank you. Y'all make me feel so much better.
I was just going to say, I have to question the level of entertainment you are getting, Kate, if all you're doing is sitting in your apartment looking at what is happening in your kitchen.
Good point.
I've watched, I think, the entirety of Netflix at this point. And, you can only play with the cat so much. I will say the cat has been staring at the wall in the bedroom again. Like, she'd stopped for a while and she's back to staring at it again.
That is unsettling.
Because I keep looking to see, like, there's nothing reflecting on it. There's no shadows because she's doing it if the light's on, the light's off. And she just stares at it. Like, she doesn't try to chase anything. She just stares.
Is your cat having a fit?
I mean, she's a cat. Like, cats do what cats do. But that might be unsettling me more than anything. Because it's not like her. She's not normally. I mean, that's not typical behavior for her. I mean, she's like 14 years old. She sleeps. She eats and she sleeps and she eats and she sleeps. That's what she does. But now she also stares.
I mean, normally she's so chatty and she's just so quiet lately.
Are you sure you're talking about the cat or are you talking about me?
Oh, she's never quiet. So last week we talked about conspiracy theories and there was some bonkers stuff out there. What were your favorites, guys? Anything that stuck with you?
I will say I still get a little hung up on the whole idea that Abby faked it all and had been like hoarding her blood away.
Yes.
That's just a special brand of delightful for so many reasons. But that she would then let her kid be raised by somebody else, by her. I mean, yeah, her sister, but still, there's so many ways that whole thing was ridiculous. So I that one kind of stuck with me. How about you, Ted?
And then she went to be an actress in LA and no one knew.
I forgot about that. She went to be an actress in Los Angeles. Like, no.
It's not how you disappear, girl.
It's not how you disappear, girl.
Ted?
Yeah, I was going to say that one was probably my favorite, but the one that kind of seems the most plausible to me is the one where Paul kind of manipulated the timeline.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, that seems the most plausible, but I also kind of like the idea of of her faking her death and just like storing up like gallons and gallons of her own blood at a secret location?
Because where do you store that if you have all this blood? Just like you can't just put that in the freezer.
Well, and she's missing out on a career in like wedding planning or something, because somebody who can anticipate that kind of thing, like that's incredible.
No, that's true. That's true.
Yeah. Way above her pay grade.
Did you have a favorite, Jeremy?
The disappearing was one of my favorites.
Yeah.
I thought that was great. But also the grunge killer.
Oh yeah, the grunge killer was pretty good.
Targeting different musicians, but Paul, come on, he was not that noteworthy to warrant that kind of attention. Sorry, Paul.
Or that Courtney Love did it.
Yes, always blame Courtney Love.
I may have made that one up. Did I make that one up? I think I made that one up. I think I just wanted that to be true that Courtney did it.
Yeah.
She was after all of them. So yeah, last week was crazy conspiracy theories, but now it's time that we try to actually dive into what happened in this case of Paul and Abby Stone. So we're going to actually talk to someone who knew the couple. And we have a special guest this week. His name is Bobby Linden. He's a childhood friend of Ted's. Bobby's on the call with us. Bobby, I see you're yawning. Are we boring you? Would you like to say hello?
No, you're not boring me. Not at all. I had a late night shift at QFC, so no worries. Hi, I'm Bobby. It's nice to be here. I'm happy to help with whatever this is, and it's really nice to see Ted again. It's been a while.
Do you have good dirt on Ted? Just let it out. I need to know. What was he really like as a little kid?
I walked in on him in the bathroom once, and that was horrifying. But
because I was peeing, people. Okay, I was just peeing.
I'm so sorry, Jeremy.
See, I'm unfazed by that. He leaves the bathroom door open now.
Yeah, that's what happened that time too.
Do you have a problem with closing doors, honey?
No, I was in a hurry, okay? I was in a hurry. I didn't have time for that stuff.
Had to get to soccer practice.
Yeah.
So fast.
That closing the door.
This is like Pee-wee soccer.
It's like you had to wait for someone to drive you anyhow. Like, just close the door.
That's such little kid logic, though. That like, I have to save every ounce of time. What will save me? Really no time, but I should still do. Leave the bathroom door open.
At least he learned to like wash his hands. So.
Did he not? Oh.
Very important these days, guys.
When you were a kid?
I washed my hands when I was a kid.
So did I. But Ted didn't.
I gotta be fair. I didn't either.
Okay, now Bobby's just making up crap. I swear to God.
We used to call him Ted Dirty Hands. Just Ted.
Bobby, we're
Ted
keeping
dirty.
you. Can Bobby come on every episode?
So thank you for joining us on our episode.
This is great. This is better than Jan.
No worries. Nowadays I'm Bob Dirty Hands because I work with fish at QFC. So yeah.
Okay.
It all comes full circle.
Bobby Dirty Hands.
Bobby Dirty Hands.
So Bobby, you knew Paul and Abby Stone, right?
Yeah, I mean, they lived above me, so it was more hearing them than actually seeing them. My dad used to hang out with Abby a lot, so I knew her more and less Paul.
So Kate and I, we never had any experience with Paul and Abby. What was your first impression of them? How would you characterize these two people individually?
I thought Paul was pretty cool. Just living downstairs from a musician in sort of the like heyday of grunge in Seattle. Like that was, I mean, I didn't know it now. I know it now. I didn't know it then. But nowadays, like that's a little piece of history that I can bring it up at parties, and people live for that.
Well, and true crime too. People love kind of true crime.
Yeah.
Anything. It's yeah.
Abby was really nice. I remember she made cookies for us a lot. She'd bring them over for me and my dad, and they were like, she made these really good ginger snaps.
Ooh, those sound delicious.
Yeah. Did you ever have any, Ted?
Oh, yeah. My parents babysat Dylan a few times, and a lot of times Abby would just treat us with their ginger snaps. They were very good.
Well, I'm just curious. I mean, we keep making all these jokes about my apartment being haunted, which it's not. But like, did you ever notice anything in your apartment? Like, is it possible it's an old building? Maybe some of these ghosts predate the murder?
Well, no. I mean, there were mice once in a while. You hear some skittering in the walls and occasional thumping of the really bad water pipes. Like, I don't know if it's the same landlord. I doubt he's fixed the fucking thing.
Probably not.
Yeah, just, regular horrible sounds of the night. But in the city, you just sort of get used to it.
So, like I said, my parents babysat Dylan a few times, and I got to see him. And one of the real sad things about this is once he graduated, he moved out, or he disappeared, and we can't find him. And we've been talking about a lot of the different things that possibly could have led up to Dylan's sort of disappearance post the situation. Cause he went to go live with his Aunt Jennifer, Abby's sister.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm really curious, cause I haven't really talked to you about this in any real depth, but was Dylan ever mistreated in any way that you had seen living in the building with them?
When you say mistreated, do you mean like, did they beat him?
Or just treat him in a way that would kind of ring any sort of alarm bells? Like, I'm wondering if there were things that were happening to him that maybe we should have gotten involved sooner.
I came home one night. And Dylan was out in the hallway by himself on our floor.
On your floor?
Yeah. So, he was playing with his, like a little train. So I don't know. I helped him up. I mean, he wasn't hurt, but I took his hand and I walked him upstairs, just to check and see if like everything was okay. Because I mean, we'd had break-ins before, and I don't know, the kid's smart. He could have just been home alone and walked out and been fooling around. But when we got upstairs, the door was ajar. I walked him in thinking that, Abby was probably home. I called out for her and I didn't hear anything. So I went further into the apartment, just sort of check the place out, make sure everything was all right. And I heard Abby. And she was mumbling something, talking to someone in the bedroom. So, maybe I thought it was Paul. I thought Paul and Abby were having like a fight, but it was quiet this time because I guess they just decided to mix it up. So I went over there because the door was open and Paul wasn't there, but Abby was alone, just talking to herself in that mirror that my dad and I helped install. I tried to like catch her attention. Like I locked eye contact with her in the mirror, but her eyes were kind of glazed and it looked like she didn't see me. So maybe she was doing self-affirmations or something like I don't know. But so I cleared my throat and I mean, nothing really changed within her posture or her. She didn't look at me. She seemed, her focus seemed to shift just a little bit. And she just said for me to leave Dylan and go. And so I left and I locked the door behind me.
I'm trying to think how to react.
I know. I just feel like the more we find out, the more there's just a lot more going on in that apartment. I don't know.
And it seems like both Paul and Abby, something is not right with either of them. There's some odd behavior on both sides. Because I think up to this far, from what we've heard from Ted, Abby was great. Abby was wonderful. But now we're hearing maybe she was, but something was going on with Abby.
She acted weird sometimes, especially around my father. Like when they were hanging out, there would just be little moments, not sexual moments, but just like they were acting weird, as if they were trying to hide something from. I don't even think they were trying to hide it from me, just from the world, as if like there were cameras on them. But
I got a random question. So after all these years, Bobby, do you think Paul killed Abby Stone?
I don't know, man.
Okay, fair. I didn't know after all this time anything might have popped up in your head.
Paul, after a little while, I think after maybe like a couple months, Paul started getting less friendly with me. My dad, his name is Frank, by the way. My dad and Abby were getting more like comfortable with each other. I guess they were hanging out more, and Paul was not around a lot. He would be really short with me because, like, I'm not gonna lie, I kind of wanted to be a musician back in the day when I was that kid, you know. And I had questions. I had just like, how does this guitar work? What's a C minor? What does this amp do? And Paul would sort of shut me down and just he kind of appeared menacing after a while, like always in the shadow. Like when I saw him, for some reason, it was more than often at night, or like the power had gone out in our apartment. And I'd see him like walking up the stairs. I think, Ted, did you and I, we used to like call him Shadow Man or something like that?
Yeah, I think we called him Shadow Man, and then we also called him Reefer Man.
He did always smell like that.
Reefer from the Shadow Man.
Yeah, you could smell him in the shadows. You wouldn't see him. You'd just see his beady little eyes and smell the ganja.
Although to be fair, that's kind of just Capitol Hill.
That is also true.
Yeah.
Everything vaguely smells like weed. That's something I've noticed.
Yeah. So I don't know. I sort of dreaded him, but Abby was always nice. You know, she'd come over and she and my dad would go over sort of schoolwork. My dad used to be a teacher, and I think he was tutoring her with her college work. I'm not really sure. I don't know. They brought over really big books that looked like textbooks. I didn't read them. I don't give a flying rat's ass about that. I had video games to play. But they were very enraptured in those texts or books or whatever.
Is it possible anything had been going on between those two or between them like during this, or was it just strictly Abby was just lonely and needed somebody to connect with?
You know, there was a moment when my dad told me that he was going up to help her move some furniture, and I heard some shuffling around up there that it didn't sound like wood on wood or metal on wood, but I know my dad, and that's not, I don't think they were having an affair.
Was your dad single at the time?
Yeah.
Your dad's still alive?
He is. He's in the house now, actually. He's taking his nap.
Your dad's there.
Yeah, I live with him.
Oh, I'd love to hear from him.
Could we talk to him?
I don't really think that's a good idea.
Okay.
When you guys asked me to come on, I told my dad initially, and he didn't want me to. He got really upset. What happened in that apartment put a lot of strain on my father and put him in a position where I don't think he'll ever be able to cope without me here.
I'm really sorry. That's really hard, Bobby. How did your father react when the murder initially occurred?
The day of the murder, there was some fighting upstairs.
Bobby.
Yeah? Hey, what's up?
There's a man at the door with a package.
Does he need me to sign?
What's happening here?
I'm talking with some friends, Dad.
Hi, Mr. Frank. Good to see you.
Ted, right?
Yeah.
I remember you and your parents and
Can you sign for the package?
I can do that.
Okay.
I can do that, Bobby. I can do that.
Where was I?
You'd heard noises, you'd said.
Right. Okay. So I think I was sleeping. But I woke up in the middle of the night, 10:30, 11 maybe. There were heavy footsteps upstairs, and not like the usual calamity from Paul's rocking out rehearsals or any of their other fights. It was, they were heavy. It was if I don't even, it didn't seem like it was them. Like they felt like they weighed more than Paul does. And I mean, I was young, so maybe I'm just imagining things. But I know that I was not imagining the screams that came from upstairs.
And you could hear all that. Wow.
I could hear it through the walls and most prominently through the heat vents in my room. And then that went on for a little while, and then there was a breaking. There was like a shattering sound, like somebody broke a vase or something, and then there was nothing. There was silence, and all I remember is a few minutes after, it was red and blue with the police cars and like an ambulance, and my dad told me to stay in my room, and I did.
Do you know if your dad heard the sounds you were hearing, the screaming and the noises?
I mean, he must have. He's not deaf, and if I could hear them, he could. His room wasn't that much further from, I guess, under their bedroom. Mine was just a little, trying to think of the geography here. I think his was almost directly under their bedroom, and mine was a little to the side. So if anything, he could hear it even better than me.
And he was definitely home and in bed that night, right?
I mean, he tucked me in, but that was at like 8.
I've been wondering actually, and we'll have to see maybe if we can find some of the police records about it. But if everything was so loud, did somebody call the police? Did anybody go upstairs to check? I'm even thinking about where Abby's body went. Is it possible that somebody went upstairs after? I don't know.
I don't know if my dad called the police, but I know that he went to the police like the week after, because the police spoke to him and they spoke to me on that night.
What are you talking about?
Hey, what's up? How's it going?
You shouldn't talk about that night. None of you should
Dad,
talk about that night.
Dad, I need you to calm
That
down.
was the night the man in the moon
Please.
stole the stars. The man
I need
in
you.
the moon stole my stars.
I need you
Why?
to calm down. I need you to
Why?
not get so upset while I'm on this phone call.
Why did he take my stars? Hey,
I'm sorry, guys.
don't talk about.
I have to go.
I'm so
Of
sorry.
course, yeah.
Yeah, good to see you, Bobby.
It's fine.
Well, thank you for taking this time, Bobby. We really appreciate it.
Can you? I'm sorry. Can you? My dad might listen to this, so, and I really just don't.
I didn't know.
Don't use any of this, okay? Come on, Dad. Let's get there.
Oh,
Wow. So, oof.
I haven't seen him in like 10 years, and it's really sad to see Frank like this. And yeah, poor Bobby. It looks pretty rough for him right now.
It's just amazing to me. It seems like even after all these years, the trauma of that night really stuck with both of them. You know, I think you see it in Bobby as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's really hard to see. And I feel like after this conversation with Bobby, I feel like I have so many more questions than answers that I got from this.
But I mean, are we going to use this? Like, that's.
I'm not sure if we should, you all. I'm not sure. I do believe you need to get your locks changed, Kate, but
I'm not kidding when I say I'm doing that as soon as we get off this call. Would you just let Bobby know we appreciate him taking the time and talking to us, even and that we're sorry.
I will. I'll let him know. I'll give him some time to just kind of process the day and take care of his dad. And I mean, it's just a rough time for everybody anyway. And so I'll give him some time, and then I'll check in with him in the next few days.
Okay. Thank you.
Well, okay. That was a heavy episode. I want to thank Bobby for being our guest, and I want to thank you listeners out there for sticking with us during this difficult chat. Please join us next week, where we'll be diving even further into this ever-changing case of murder. Thanks for listening, all. You guys want to say bye?
Talk to you next time.
Yeah. Bye.
See you next time on A Night in Question.